What's up, everybody? Justin here, back with a new best of show. Best of Tommy Dreamer, the innovator of violence. One of my favorite wrestlers. The guy has done it all. The guy's a hardcore legend. The guy literally broke his back for ECW and for all the ECW fans. Debuted in ECW in October 1993. This Best of Tommy Dreamer show is where I'll give some of his best matches in ECW. Some of his best matches. If you have not seen them, watch them. Check them out on the WWE Network. This show is dedicated to the innovator of violence, Tommy Dreamer. This show is dedicated to him. The guy's still alive. I don't mean it like he's dead. He's still alive and doing well. He's a great guy on Twitter. Follow Tommy Dreamer on Twitter. He's a great follow. So here's some of his best matches. Some of my favorites of Tommy Dreamer in ECW. Up first, let's go back to 1994, February. At the night the line was crossed, 1994. It's on the network. You can watch it now. It's been on there for about 2 or 3 months. The night the line was crossed in 1994. Tommy Dreamer against Jimmy Superfly Snuka. Now, this was an important match in the young career of Tommy Dreamer in ECW because he kicked out of the Superfly Snuka Splash. He kicked out of it. Not just once. I believe 2 or 3 times he kicked out of it. He got his mouth busted open, and Jimmy Snuka would not stop beating on him, but he did not quit. So Tommy Dreamer versus Jimmy Snuka, night the line was crossed. Tommy Dreamer versus a Sandman. Singapore cane match. A Singapore caning match. Tommy Dreamer got over. Got the fans' respect in the ECW arena. Tommy Dreamer started to become loved by the ECW fan base after he took 10 Singapore cane shots to the back. He didn't have a t-shirt on. It was his back exposed. It was insane. It was really insane. So, I don't know. I got a new camera on this extra light. I don't know. It's making my face pretty damn white. Let's see how it looks without the light. And now it's too dark. So, back to Best of Tommy Dreamer. He took 10 Singapore cane shots to the back. His back was bruised, bloodied. But he got the fans' respect. And then after that, when he power drove his future wife, Beulah McGillicuddy, when he power drove her in the ECW arena, I think it was 95 by now. It had to be 95. When he power drove Beulah, that really got him over. Big time. So, again, Tommy Dreamer, Sandman, Singapore cane match from 1994. Tommy Dreamer in his war, in his rivalry, in his feud with Raven. So many matches they had in 95 to 97. They had so many matches. And Tommy Dreamer never defeated Raven for 2 straight years. He lost to Raven. All over the United States. Lost him in Philly, Florida, Japan, other places, I'm sure. Finally, Tommy Dreamer got his victory over Raven when he defeated Raven in Raven's final match at WrestlePalooza 97. I believe his loser leaves ECW. And Raven lost. He was headed to WCW, and Tommy Dreamer finally defeated Raven. And that match had everything. Had a ton of surprises. Had Sabu and RVD show up. Beat the crap out of Tommy Dreamer. Had Jerry Lawler show up. Beat the crap out of Tommy Dreamer. It had, I believe, the Sandman show up. He got beat up. Other baby faces got beat down. Taz showed up, and they finally left the ring. So, again, Tommy Dreamer versus Raven. You gotta add that rivalry and that feud to any best of Tommy Dreamer. You gotta watch the Raven Tommy Dreamer matches, mostly in 95. They did have a few matches in 96. Not that many, but they had a few. So really, Raven, Tommy Dreamer, one of my favorite feuds of all time. It was a blood feud. It was really awesome. Tommy Dreamer versus Rob Van Dam from November to Remember 1997. Really good match. Look at the power driver that RVD took. Awesome. Tommy Dreamer against Just Incredible, Guilty as Charged, 1999, in a Stairway to Hell ladder match. Really good. Really good ladder match. Tommy Dreamer. Let's go to 96. Tommy Dreamer against Brian Lee, primetime Brian Lee. If you didn't know, Brian Lee would later go to TNA, and he was in the New Church in 2002 and 03. Also, Brian Lee was in Smoky Mountain Wrestling and WWF during that Attitude Era as part of the DOA, Disciples of Apocalypse. Also, Brian Lee was the fake Undertaker at SummerSlam 94. And Brian Lee was in ECW in 96. So, Tommy Dreamer versus Brian Lee in a scaffold match, October 1996 at the ECW Arena in a scaffold match. It was kind of a, not a bootleg scaffold, but kind of a ghetto scaffold. It did not look that safe. It was not steel. It was not a ladder covered in steel. It was not. It was a built scaffold built by wood. Like a whole bunch of wood boards and a whole bunch of rope or chains were connected to the ceiling of the ECW arena. Tommy Dreamer said the Sandman actually built that scaffold because he was like a carpenter. He knew how to build stuff. So Tommy Dreamer, Brian Lee in the scaffold match. It was pretty awesome. Brian Lee took a bump and watch the match. I'm not going to spoil it, but watch the match and you know what I'm talking about. I don't know if it's shown on the network, but anyways, watch the bump Brian Lee takes off the scaffold. It's pretty epic. In the ring, by the way, under the scaffold, the ring is full of like 15 tables at least, or 10 on top of each other. So whoever falls off the scaffold goes through a whole bunch of tables in 96. And maybe the end of 95. But mostly 96. Tommy Dreamer just got put through a whole lot of tables by Brian Lee. Chokeslammed him off a whole bunch of balconies in the ECW arena. He kept chokeslamming Tommy Dreamer off balconies. And Dreamer would fall through crash through 3-4 tables. Insane. He also got chokeslammed off the top of a steel cage. Went through a bunch of tables of concrete. It's really a miracle, and thank God Tommy Dreamer can still walk, because that guy's taken a ton of punishment. So more best of Tommy Dreamer. His match with Raven in TNA Impact Wrestling. I forgot what the pay-per-view was called. It was like TNA's attempt at a ECW reunion show. I think it was 2010 or 2009. It might have been Hardcore Homecoming or Hardcore Justice, or something like that. Tommy Dreamer versus Raven. I enjoyed it. Beulah came out. I think Beulah got involved. Dreamer bled a lot. Or Raven bled a lot. Anyways, I enjoyed it. Tommy Dreamer versus... But this is my Best of Tommy Dreamer show. Giving out in his best matches that I really enjoyed in ECW. The original ECW, not WWE's attempt. And it was a giant fail of an attempt to restart ECW. The original a lot better than WWE's. I wonder why. Maybe because Vince McMahon took over from Paul Heyman and made himself ECW champion in 2007. God, that was awful. I wish I could erase that from my memory. Best of Tommy Dreamer, back to it, versus Just Incredible. At, well, that's in 2000, but whatever. I'll mix things up, different years up. Best of Tommy Dreamer versus Just Incredible Cyber Slam 2000, where he defended the ECW World Championship. And Tommy only held the ECW title for like 1 hour. Not even. He won it the same night he lost it. He won it from Taz, who was part of WWF at the time. And they made him ECW champion because Mike Awesome decided to jump ship. I guess Mike Awesome did not have a contract. I don't know the real story, but I guess he didn't have a contract. Or he wanted more money. I don't know. That's just really sad what happened to Mike Awesome. Rest in peace to Mike Awesome. That guy really was a good big man. That guy could fly. So, versus Just Incredible, Cyber Slam 2000 won the ECW title from Taz the same night he lost it to Just Incredible. And Francine was like Raven's valet or manager, and she turned on Tommy Dreamer. She was acting like she was on the side of Tommy Dreamer, cheering for him. And she turned on Tommy and joined Just Incredible. Tommy Dreamer versus... From Heat Wave in 1998, Tommy Dreamer, the Sandman, and Little Spike Dudley versus the Three Dudleys. Big Dick Dudley, Devon, Bubba Ray. Heat Wave 98, very good, entertaining matchup. I believe it was the main event, or the final match of Heat Wave 98. Really good six-man, a lot of brawling and ladders and used. Also, from CyberSlam 2000, Tommy Dreamer versus Taz. That was a good match, too. Out of Tommy Dreamer's ECW run. It was a really good match. Tommy Dreamer, let's go to 97. Tommy Dreamer versus Sabu and Shane Douglas in a three-way dance. It was very good. I think it was in November. Early November, I think. 97, maybe October. But I feel it was in November. Anyways, three-way Dreamer, Sabu, Shane Douglas from the ECW arena. It was very good. Very good triple threat. 3 ECW icons in it. 3 ECW legends. And at the time, Tommy Dreamer had a boot. A walking boot on his foot. And his ankle. I think his foot was broken or his ankle, and the guy still was wrestling in a boot. That's how tough Tommy Dreamer was. That's how much passion Tommy Dreamer had. The guy was wrestling in a boot on his foot. Obviously, an injured foot or broken foot. He was hardcore. He didn't care. He still wrestled in 97 with a walking boot on his foot. Insane. And during that three-way, Bill Alfonso cracked the walking boot with a steel chair. Good God, that looked like it hurt. So more best of Tommy Dreamer. Winning the tag team titles. Tommy Dreamer winning the ECW tag titles with Raven, who returned to ECW from WCW. Raven returns, and Tommy Dreamer and Raven become tag team champions. August 1999, ECW on TNN. From Queens, New York City, one of the great buildings, that very small building that ECW used to run, but great fan passion. The fans were loud, hype, and just great hardcore passionate fans that were in Queens, New York City. In August 99 for the first ECW on TNN, that was from Queens. That crowd was really hype. They were chanting TNN, ECW. The crowd was happy. It's probably even more hype because they knew ECW was on TNN. So that was a memorable match where it was Tommy Dreamer 2-on-1 against the Dudleys. Dudleys just won the tag titles on TNN. And the Dudleys threatened. They won the tag titles. They said, we're going to take these titles and we're going to give them to Vince McMahon on Monday Night Raw. Because the Dudleys were leaving. Everybody knew it. The ECW fan base knew it because they were smart fans. Tommy Dreamer comes out, takes on the Dudleys 2-on-1. Then Raven, as I said, makes his surprise return to ECW. Got a huge reaction. Hit the even flow DDT, I believe, on Bubba 1, 2, 3. One more match that I could think of for the best of Tommy Dreamer. I already said it. I did all the matches. My fault. I was going to say versus Just Incredible again, but I already said that from Guilty as Charged, 99 in a ladder match. Hope you enjoyed my best of Tommy Dreamer show, where I give some of my favorite Tommy Dreamer matches from the original ECW. I hope you enjoyed the best of Tommy Dreamer, the innovator of violence. Bye for now.